Morning everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter. And yes, it is a morning, and it is a sunny morning, and I cannot believe after about 12 or 14 days of rain, we've had 2 days of sun. I am so excited. So today's video is a video that was meant to have been launched about 5 weeks ago, but because I was working on my altered book, that pushed my timeline out. So we're trying to catch up with what I had before. I want to introduce you to a new launch of mine. Right now, I know these are foam stamps. I know they're black. I know you're going to hard to see them. So guess what? I stamped them onto the card for you. So I created these for two reasons. Number one was potentially Christmas. And number two, and probably the one I really designed them for, was for Halloween and that sort of, they just look like church windows to me, and they could work on medieval castles. They could do anything like that, and I will show you a trick to turn them into another window as we work along. Now, they come in three sizes. They're at PM Artist Studio. What we're going to do today is I want to show you what I invented or designed them for and the purpose I wanted them for. Now, you guys being clever guys will do other things with them. Totally fine. I just wanted to show you what I actually designed them for and how I'm going to use them. So there's going to be a bit of a show you how I use them. And then at the end of this video, I need to make a new tag for my website where I can display these so that they'll be there for you to shop with. I will put a link to these directly in the description box below. So first things first, foam stamps. I'm using them for ink. I usually use them for acrylic paint, and either will work with this practice. All I would say is ink is fine. Clean your stamp by stamping it off afterwards. If you're using acrylic paint, as soon as you finish using them, put them in some water or give them a good wipe. Don't be too vigorous on them. They are a foam stamp after all, just to clean them ready for the next use. So let me introduce what we're looking for. So I have pulled out, I thought it was a third one. There is a third one. Right, these are some cut and collage books that I've had in my stash for a while. As you can see, there's bits cut out of them and I've used them. And even this one, which I purchased, and when I got it, I wasn't overly fond of it. It was a bit too pretty and flowery, but you know what? There is a time and place for those. So anything I show you is going to have been taken from any of these three books, okay? So if you need to screenshot them, now is the time. Just in case you got, oh, I really like the look of that. I'm not going to do a flick through of these. There are plenty of flip throughs of these by other people. I will say Nicole at Relax Cut Glue almost definitely did this one. And she works with Keely O'Brien occasionally, so I should imagine that one's done. Not sure whether she's flipped through that one, but look for Nicole at Relax Cut Glue. So I've gone through them already. And I pulled out pieces that I'm going to show you how I want to stamp them, but I'm going to show you what I was looking for. So I am looking for things that if I was looking through a window, so in my mind, I'm inside a building looking out. If I looked out of a window, what would I see? So I could see stuff like this. Again, there's stuff on here I can use. I will show you how to do this. Now, some of these things, it's a fussy cut, but to be honest with you, it's too small of a fussy cut for me because I'm not going to fiddly cut all of those, but I could get two windows on there. Again, he's really sweet. Would I fussy cut all that? Hell no, I wouldn't, but I might stamp over it and fussy cut round it. This is a fabulous image for something like this because say I'm doing Halloween, I could have a ghost looking through a window. Again, here's another one. Perfect scenario. I could maybe do one there and one there. This, I think, was from Tracy Fox. I believe these were from, it was a collaboration I did with Tracy Fox last year, I believe. It was a Christmas digital. So I pulled those out because I just found them in my book box. This was a background in one of those books as well. The one I said was a bit too pretty. But you know what? Using these gives the illusion almost of a stained glass window. This, now, I'm not sure when I would have used a jar with mushrooms in it, but I could stamp a window on there and actually use it. Small balloons, again, stained glass window. How about that for a nursery or a baby's journal card or greetings card? Again, thinking along the Halloween or fall or autumn themes. couple of these things. I'm assuming they're going to work with anything. I don't know whether they will or not, but I will try. This one might turn out to be a little bit dark, but you know what? I'm going to give it a go anyway. And then so I mean, I have stuff on the other side, granted, but the bigger pictures I've not used. So I'm going to pull a couple of these out. I'm going to work in the order I had them laid out. I'm going to stamp one or two. Then I'm going to pause you. Then I'm going to stamp all of the rest. And then I'm going to fussy cut them out. And they are so easy to cut, guys. I mean, where's that piece of paper gone? I mean, when I designed them, I wanted them so that they were almost idiot proof. So, I mean, it's so easy. It's only 3 cuts. So you've got the cut around there, the cut around here, and the cut here. That gives me my church window. Now, it was only when I got this and I started playing did I think, wait, I can make another window out of that. So if you've stamped this much of it, but you don't want a church window, come into the 3rd line up, because the 4th line, it just starts to curve. Cut along there. Now this bit, if you cut it down a little bit, if you're doing something with a door, this could go above a door. Granted, it'd have to be the same size. Above a door, you could even cut it shorter for the window above a door on a greetings card. But if you take this and then if you trim down, I just do this by eye. I don't bother measuring. There's points at which I just go, you know what, we're just going to go with the flow. And there you go. I've created a normal window. So out of the same stamp, I've given you an extra window, and of course they come in on different sizes. So just another thought to play with. All right, time to clean up in aisle 5. Let's get the big bad scissors out of the way. So I will look at this. Now I'm going to work in the big one with you watching, but I'm also going to stamp the small ones when you're not watching, because I want a variety of these. Now, because this is porous, normal paper, I'm going to use VersaFine Clair. Now, I bought 3 ink pads of this. I really love how juicy and how black and how dense they are. However, if you stamp on anything that's remotely coated or shiny, they take a long time to dry. And in that instance, I would use Archival Permanent, and that dries almost instantly. So I'm going to come on. Oh. And if it's not a perfect stamp, it also doesn't bother me, because I can always come in and actually just go in with a marker afterwards. So I think that will be a nice place to stamp. Put it down, give it a few seconds to transfer. As I said, if I don't have a perfect image, I can always come in with a black marker, say a paint pen or something, and tickle it up. But there you go. So now you can imagine if I'm looking through this window, that's what I'm going to see. So that's the sort of stuff I am looking for. So let me do a couple more of these just so you can see where we're up to. Now, do not dismiss areas like this. Also, you'll get a really, there you go. See, you've got, I could have got that level. That would have pleased me a little bit more. Now let's come in with, let's have a look. Where's that ghost one? I wanted to try the ghost one out. Come on, Mr. Ghost, where are you? I know you're in here. I know you're in here because we've looked. Have you disappeared on me? No, there you are. So now I have this one, and I think that would look like a fabulous image looking through a window. Now, what I would say is, in this instance, I'm going to turn it on its side because it's important that the face is in here. I want to make sure that I don't really catch that little bit of extra something there. So I'm going to come down and we'll cut this one out for you just so you can see the effect this has. Right. There you go. Oh, look, it's just peeping in at the top. Thank goodness I got the eyeballs in. I was a little worried about that. Actually, it's just going to be too wet to cut. Might be too wet to cut. Let's cut one of these for you. So, as we did before, I'm going to come in, and I've only got 3 lines to cut. If you miss the edge slightly, you can always ink the edges. So I've gone quiet on you, haven't I? So there you go. So how cute is that? So now when I put that on a card, which would be putting one onto a journal card afterwards, a journal tag for my website afterwards, that's what the window will look like. So I'm going to pause you and I'm going to go through all of these scraps and see whether I can use the other sizes to rescue pieces off them. Then I'll fussy cut them all out and then we'll be back, I promise you. See you in 2 seconds, guys. And I'm back. And let's do a really quick flick through. I'll just put the box there and put them straight into it. Do a really quick flick through because I want to get on with the tag. Now, a couple of things I do want to mention is I chose looking out of a window. Look at your digitals, look at your papers. You may have little scenes of kids playing in front of the fire or little Christmas trees. You could look into a house instead, which would be equally as nice. But these took me about 45 minutes to cut and do. Hopefully you're going to see them. We'll be flipping through them. See, I love anything with a pattern could easily be a stained glass window. I'm looking for ones as I go through here that really stick out. Like that was a digital. How cute is that? Also, don't get hung up on you haven't got the image square in the shot. If you look out of your window, there's always things that are partial. Like, that's really cute. That was actually just a bit of book page I found on my desk that I stamped. I quite like that. Here you go. Now, remember when I said you can cut the big one down to the smaller? It was only when I was doing this did I realise you could actually cut it smaller. Or you could cut this off and have a narrow window, or you could cut that and that off and have a small square window. I was quite impressed with myself with that. So some of these are really beautiful, I must admit. Like, I'll leave that one out. What I'm looking for in these is I'm looking for one that's going to really show off the stamp, because this is, oh, that's quite a cute one. This is a product shot from my website. So see, I even did a little one with the little one, if that makes sense to anyone but me. See, even little tiny scraps, when I actually stamped them, I saved a little bit of tree. Oh, that's another quite nice one as well. What I would say, however, is when you first stamp them, you're going to go, oh, that didn't work, because you'll see all the stuff around it. The moment you cut them out, they change. Like that is beautiful. And that was just a partial. Again, partial of a tree. This one's really spooky. Who doesn't want a gargoyle looking through their window on Halloween? Quite liked that one as well, but I think it's too dark. I love that. Can you imagine if that was like, had some toys and it was a nursery at night? As you can see, I really like that because I cut several of those. Here's some more of those. And remember, any pattern could be a stained glass window. Also, if you're someone that doodles, how about doodling a sheet of small flowers and leaves on a coloured background, then stamp them out. And then what would happen is they would look like stained glass because your pen would give the outlines as well. There is something else, because obviously I'm playing with these for the first time. Something else I would say to do is, and I'm not sure, I mean, I haven't done this next suggestion, so I'm just going to put it out there, let someone else play with it. Stamp with a permanent ink onto acetate. Then cut the aperture out of your card and actually have a window in your card that is of this shape. Just an idea. That turned out beautiful. I love that. I love that as well. In fact, I love quite a lot of these or they wouldn't be here. What was the other one I was going to say? And don't forget, guys, I've stamped in black. You can stamp in whatever colour you like. You could stamp in metallics and emboss it. You could do anything like that to make a window. This one didn't work as well as I thought. This was that little mason jar. It's cute, but it's too dark down here. So that's something to remember. That's more of the stained glass windows ones. Look for small images. Go through all your digitals. You could even go through books and see what images, because images in books are quite small. You could even, I'm assuming, stamp on magazine images, and then what would happen is a magazine image would probably be glossy, the stamping wouldn't, so it would look like a pane of glass over your image. Just be careful. Stamping onto a slick or a coated or a shiny surface, the ink will take a lot of time to dry. That was part of Tracy's. I loved how it was. Turn them around, Griffiths. We're looking at them upside down. And that was just a little tiny scrap with a little bit of blue in the top. That's just enough. That one, I wish I'd have stamped up a bit more because I have all this here and I'd rather have had the top. This, actually, this was the other half of this, as you can see it. There you go, I think it was like that. But still, it's a cute image. I would probably cut this square out, however, because I don't like that in there. The ones I thought wouldn't work on that round worked fantastically. I mean, I'm very, very loving these. Leave those two out as well. It's only when I've done the tag will I actually know which one I want. Cute, cute. That's beautiful as well. That might be a stayer outer. This was, I don't know whether I got the other half of it. No, this was half of that cottage. And even little gnome on a swing looking through my door. I was so lucky I got his eyes in there. Again, oh, this was the other half of the cottage. What happened though was the top I didn't put enough ink on, so I cut it down. Never going to waste it. And that was the ghost we did earlier on. So I've got a selection of them here. What's that? Look, there's a little tiny, it was a corner, and made a little tiny window for a pumpkin to be seen through. Right, I need to decide. Well, those are very similar. I think I don't want that one. Now, I'm going for a fall or an autumnal coloured tag. So do I want to think autumn or do I want to think Halloween? Let's not do it. I've got Halloween coming up. I can use those for Halloween. Right, I'm going to leave these two out because I'm not sure yet. I'm leaning towards this one, however. We'll see how the tag turned out. Right, those obviously are now in my stash, and what I'll do is in the future, if I have digitals where I'm looking into a scene, like, especially for Christmas, can you imagine having one of these that's a Christmas scene that you actually stuck onto the front of a card? Like a greetings card, I've got one, here you go. So put that on the front of a greetings card with something in the background, it would look lovely. So those are going into my stash, which is lovely. Now let's get on and make a journal card. Now, these are the standard size journal cards I've got. I do back them when they're done. They're what I use on my website to advertise my products. They're made with the die. I can't remember which die set it is. I've got it and had it for flipping ages. Well, years, in fact. So I'm just going to bring this in. Do I need to cover this with something? No, I can wipe it off. I'm going to do a really quick tag. These are sort of my colour scheme. Caramel, orange, lemon, green. I've obviously pulled in some white because I'm going to need it. And I just want to build up a contemporary background. Doesn't have to be perfect, never meant to be perfect, and it isn't going to be perfect. 5x7 gel plate and my 4-inch speedball brayer. So I'm just going to come in. Right, now I knew that was very bright, so I wanted to add a little bit of yellow to it. These are just ways I'm using these guys because you can do them in any way you like, any way, shape or form. So I'm just going to come in, I'm going to pick up that by there, and I think I want to pick up a bit by there. Right, what I've got to hand is I've got some book pages. I wouldn't normally waste this much paint, but we're on video and it's not being wasted because it's been put on this bit of paper for me to use at another date. So please forgive me if I'm just slamming stuff down and picking it up. But to me, it's more important to make sure this video isn't a million years long. I will try and cut out anything that's sort of just me doing cleanup like this. You might not see me do this again. So that was yellow. I want a bit of this green. This is Fern Green by Lucas Krill. The others don't actually have names to the paint because I've condensed colours into one single bottle. So I do like this green, or I wouldn't be using it if I didn't like it. I need to go this way. And I think a little bit over there. I'm trying to do almost like a cottage sort of quilt type look. Don't put your wet paper on top of your wet paper, Griffiths, it sticks. I'll get rid of this in a second. Right, so I want to put a little bit of caramel on there, but I think I'll put the orange across there, and maybe a little bit of orange, just a touch of orange. And it doesn't have to be in a block like that. It could easily be just a strip like that with some raggedy edges. Let's just hope I've got it kind of in the middle. I do have it in the middle. I'd like to pick up a little bit up here. I'm not focusing on doing things in threes. I'm just focusing on carrying the eye around the tag, because I don't really know, other than the window, what is going to go on here. I've got a feeling I might actually want to put some autumn leaves on here, because I've got some autumn leaves pulled out. Right, I'm going to pull out a little bit of caramel. Ooh, or maybe pull out a lot of caramel. Now I will use it. Right, what I'm going to do is I've got some parchment paper here. It's baking parchment paper, comes on a roll. I just want to put something on here, just like that, just to create another look. I can go to one side, I can go on there. So that's the base of my tag, sorry. I think I want to put a little bit of white on here. And what have I got that I can use? Let's put this down here so I don't get mess all over the place. Trying to think how I want to do this. Let's just do, I've got a technique I call a kissing technique, which is basically where you just touch it down and pick up patches. I was going to try and be a bit more creative with where I put the colour. Not the colour of the white, but I think that'll be okay. Right, I've got some of this. This is just, I don't know whether it's a burnt umber. It's a darker brown anyway. Why aren't you coming out? Are you that thick? Good grief. Okay, I need to put something in there to soften that back. So I'm just going to bring that in. I'm going to push this in. This is plastic, I don't know, call it mesh or grid or whatever you call it. It's used for almost doing cross stitch in wool, and you can make dimensional pieces of art from it. Like you can make constructional pieces like handbags and Kleenex boxes and all that sort of stuff. I just want a little tiny bit over there. Right, I feel that's okay. Let's stick that onto something. So I'm going to need to pause you now because I need to get this fully dried, because obviously I can't put anything on it until this is dry. So give me 2 seconds, guys, and I will be back. And I'm back, and it's dry. It'll flatten out over time. Well, once I put the backing on it, I'll put it under a book anyway. So we've got our tag. I have pulled out a few elements that, and I've lost a window. Where's the other window? There's the other window. I pulled out some elements, and I pulled out some of my autumn leaves as well, just to get this done. Now, I'm thinking this is part of a digital of mine, and it kind of works perfectly with that now. I quite like that grunginess to it. It's on the PM Artist website. If you go there and you look under printables, they call their digitals printables over there. So if you pop over there, you will find it there. Right, I quite like that, but I don't want that bit there. So I'm just going to, oh look, okay, I use magazine pages to actually glue on, but see these scenes here? These would be the perfect scenes to actually stamp a window over. especially something like that. See what I mean? So you can actually have scenes looking into a house. But remember, shiny paper, permanent ink, let it fully dry before you use it. So do I want to ink the edge of this? I kind of do. For once, inking is definitely going to make sense when it comes to an autumnal theme. Oh, do I want to put the book page down first? Yes, I think I do. Right, hold the fire on that one, Griffiths. We'll have a look in a second. Right, I've got a bit of book page I wanted to put on here. I'm just gonna, if I can tear it like that, it won't matter. It's all book page and it's really thin, so I'm not too worried, and I don't intend, there won't be a huge amount of it left shown. Now I use this brand Pritt Stick for all of my gluing. It's my preferred brand in this country. It works for the air conditions that I have here, like humidity and that. How high up does that go? Am I still in shot? I am in shot. Right, I didn't want curiosity on it, did I? Right, however, I can just fold curiosity over the other side. So I'm going to be back in this anyway. Right, so that's the start of it. And yes, I do like that over the top of that. So by the time this airs, this video, this will be on my website. And my website has two shops. The shop says Stencil Shop Quick View. And links to these are in the bottom of my description box, guys. So if you go to look under the video title, you'll see a word more, M-O-R-E, that is actually in bold print. If you tap on that, it will open a description box. In that description box, you will find everything I was talking about, like links, descriptions. At the very bottom of that description box, there's a link to my website. There's a link to Ceri Griffiths Designs at PM Artist Studio. There's also a link to, it says, Stencil Shop Quick View, Foam Stamp Shop Quick View. And by clicking those, it goes through to my website, where you'll have a pictorial reference of everything I've designed, stencils or foam stamps. If you click on an image, it then takes you through to PM Artist Studio website, directly to the product, so you can find out more. And if you choose to purchase, you can purchase. Ceri Griffiths Designs by PM Artist Studio. If you click that link, it goes through the whole of PM Artist Studio website, but all of the things I have designed on, they're all grouped together, although you can just go to the search bar and search any other product from any other designer, which is great. Have a mosey around. There's some great stuff on there. What else do you need to know? But I will put a link to Wicked Windows, which is what these were called, the foam stamps. I'll put it in the top of the description box anyway. Right, so we're getting there with this. Right, I wanted to bring in some leaves. These are just made from painty papers, and I believe this was actually, if I'm correct, I want to say this was actually Amazon packaging that I actually painted up. I want two of those. I want two, but I don't want those two. I don't mind that over that. Right. And no, there isn't a video of me doing it. And the reason I didn't do a video is because if you really want to see some fabulous leaves being done, go to Darcy Sanders' Misadventures of Mixed Media. She's got some incredible videos out there of making painty papers and then making leaves from them. So pop over there and have a look. Oh, there's even a Tim Holtz one with a bit of a hole in it. Right, just trying to find the, you know what it's like, you don't know which one it is until you find the exact one. I think that will do. Right, put those to one side. I'm not going to ink the edges of those. I may already have done it anyway. So that one up there a little bit. Now, I will not be putting an inscription or a saying or anything on this, because this is a product picture. It's not it's not for a journal, it's for a product image. So that's why I tend to steer away from things like that when I create these. And I'm purely doing it as a visual reference on my website. Let's fold those over as well, I don't mind. And in doing that, I want to make sure that the only products seen on there are pretty much mine or any one from PM Artist Studio or a found item. Right, now I wanted that little leaf there. A lot of my leaves are hand cut, and there's quite a few that are actually, what are they called? Die cut as well. So I've got the smaller oak leaf here, I believe is from Crafter's Companion here in the UK, as I think is this maple leaf, but I don't even know whether they're being made anymore. The Tim Holtz tattered leaves, I believe those are still being made, but a lot of the time I actually just cut freehand because leaves in nature are never going to be uniform in design. Let's pull that down. Oh, out of the way, yeah. Right. I've got a very sticky glue stick. I know that wouldn't be a problem normally, but it's becoming a problem at the moment. Right, there you go. That's all pressed down. Now is the decision as to which of these goes on here. Now it's crying out for something up there, and I will probably put a leaf up there in a moment. Remember, the point of using the image is that you can see the stamped work on it. That's a clearer look. This is the more aesthetically pleasing. And I think I'm going to go with that one. I absolutely am. I am going to ink around the edges just to make sure there's any little white bits where I was very, very quickly fussy cutting these for you, that it's covered up. And obviously they're really easy to... Oh, I've got a problem with this glue stick. It's run out, that's why. Time for a new glue stick. Right. So that's come in there. If we can make sure it's squared up with the edge of the journal card, because I know that's straight. It is straight, isn't it? That's not straight there. Right, let it go, Griffiths, let it go. So I want one thing up here. Now, do I need it to be maybe one leaf? Too many leaves, right. There's too many leaves on that page. Right, give me a second. I need to have a little look through my stash and see what other bits of ephemera I've got that I can use up there, because it does need something. Actually, I found these. Now, I cut these out from the same book as all this, and pity you're too big. Little Scottish cow. Ooh, what about a little bear? Come here, Mr. Bear. I think that will work. I need to sit him on something though, because I don't want him floating in midair. Right. A little bit of book page, I think. This time, however, I need to make sure that it's level. This was just from one of those autumn books that I had, the collage books. Just needs a little something to be perched on. And yes, he does need a little bit of this around just to tie him in. This is a very old book page, so let's just hope it doesn't tear on me. And then you might need a little bit, because I can guarantee the edges of the paper will be showing through. I can't pick it up. I think that's perfect. Put that down, but I don't want the word dead showing. I'm happy with that. I think that's good enough for what I want it for. So this will just appear on my web. Oh, I do need to ink around the edges, I think. This is probably going to be a prime example of, this is without it inking. This is with it inking. I know some people don't like inking, and I don't always ink. But in this instance, I think it would be the perfect thing to do. Also, cutting that little bit of leaf off would be a good thing to do as well. There you go. Now, obviously, I could have put a lot more in here. I could have put a word, I could have put labels. But as I said 1,000 times already, and we're bored of it, this is a product card. This will be on the website. So, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. As I said, it was all about introducing my new stamps, which is Wicked Windows. So hopefully you enjoyed those. They do come as a set. I believe you can't buy them individually. They're a set of 3, and why wouldn't you? I mean, well, you've seen what I've created with them. I've now got a stash of windows, and that's just one view of them. Lots of alternatives. Hopefully you enjoyed that. And I think it's just up to me to say goodbye now. So I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter. Until next time. Goodbye now.